Napheesa Collier absolutely hooked Angel Reese's ass last night. 8 of 13, 61.5%, 26 points in 25 minutes and 53 seconds. She scored 26 in 26 minutes.
What happens when a player focused on individual stats goes up against a team that's all about winning? On May 10th, we got a clear answer as Napheesa Collier and the Minnesota Lynx methodically broke down Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky's game plan, limiting Reese to just 3 rebounds and 10 points over 25 minutes of action.
Angel Reese, preseason, part 2, let's get it! What they say about layups, harder than nuclear physics. Bang! She's a point forward now, and nobody's more excited than opposing defenses. Time for the vintage underhand scoopity shot from 3 feet. Yep, there it is. Bang!
This wasn't just another preseason game. It was a glimpse of what happens when the focus moves from social media hype to real on-court performance. Did the Lynx just expose Reese's double-double streak as smoke and mirrors? What does her new coach really think about her place on the team? Stay with us as we break down the game footage, how Collier dominated Reese, the surprising aftermath, and whether fans are tuning in for the basketball or just for Reese.
I think Angel Reese fans are going to be happy because she's playing away from the rim, a long way away from the rim, and those rebound numbers and those double-doubles are about to take a back seat. So guess what? Padding the stats is not going to work out.
Before the May 10th matchup, Angel Reese seemed confident, sharing posts about being ready to dominate and claiming she's not used to losing. But when it came time to face Napheesa Collier and the Minnesota Lynx, reality came crashing down. The so-called rebounding machine finished with just 3 rebounds in 25 minutes. That's right. Only 3 boards from a player whose entire reputation is built on cleaning up her own misses.
I don't want to give away the farm, but Angel was 2 of 8 from the field. 2 of 8 from the field. 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 points.
The game footage makes it clear how thoroughly Collier shut down Reese's game. From the opening tip, Collier took control, using her body to establish position and box Reese out effectively. Unlike in college, where Reese could often rely on reaching over defenders, she now faced an opponent who mastered positioning and timing. In one second quarter sequence, Reese made 3 separate attempts to gain deep post position, and each time, Collier denied the entry pass, pushing her farther from the hoop. When Reese finally did get the ball, Collier's sharp defensive footwork forced her into an off-balance shot that missed badly. No rebound, no second chance points.
The McDonald's sponsoring the first ever fry cook in the WNBA. Bag work is off the dollar menu, man. What is this junk? Bang! Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and most importantly, Mother Teresa, Mother Nature, and Mother 2. I'm watching because of me too. Bang! Did you know a croissant's most important ingredient is butter? Yes, butter, butter, butter pecan!
Reese's shooting numbers told the same story. She went just 2 for 8 from the field, missing her only 3-point attempt. Most of her points came at the free throw line, where she made 6 of 8. Without her trademark putbacks and second chance buckets, Reese's offensive impact looked surprisingly average.
Look at these stats. This was some first quarter action. 5 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 for 4 from the field. Missed drive layup, missed 6 foot, leading taking 2. Missed drive, lead taking layup. It's going to be another one of those years, folks.
Credit also goes to the Lynx's team defense. Whenever Reese managed to touch the ball, help defenders quickly collapsed, pressuring her into tough shots or rushed passes. The second quarter was especially rough for the Sky. They shot just 25% from the field, making only 4 baskets. Meanwhile, the Lynx capitalized on both ends, putting up 23 points and heading into halftime with a 48-42 lead.
Collier, I mean, my God, 26-5. Absolutely crazy. Okay, the lack of practice or fatigue from her social life is showing itself with Angel Reese. She's doing a lot of watching and slow on defense. Also not communicating. She literally stood there and watched Fee backdoor to the rim for a layup from a pass.
Reese's first half painted a clear picture. She took just 3 shots and missed all of them, with her only points coming from free throws. This wasn't just a cold night. It was a complete shutdown by a smarter, more experienced defensive opponent and team. While Reese struggled to find her footing, Collier was dominant on both ends. She racked up 26 points on an efficient 8 of 13 shooting in just under 26 minutes. With 5 rebounds, a steal, and a block added to her stat line, there was no doubt who the superior player was. Collier looked every bit the MVP candidate, while Reese seemed like a rookie still adjusting to the pro level.
Caitlin Clark has 0 free throw attempts. Did the refs swallow the whistle? Well, Angel's got 30. Who has the special whistle again? Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. I remember Angel Reese talking about they must have a special whistle out there. Yeah, this person says, my brain genuinely hurts watching Angel Reese fans interact.
One fan on social media claimed the Lynx had cracked the code on stopping Angel Reese, and the evidence backs it up. By neutralizing her rebounding edge, Collier highlighted the gaps in Reese's overall skill set. Without second-chance points and putbacks, Reese's offensive presence faded almost completely.
If I'm being honest, is Angel headed towards a 12-point, 6-rebound, 4-assist kind of season? In other words, being a character actor and not the superstar of this team?
To Reese's credit, she did flash some playmaking ability with 5 assists, indicating an effort to broaden her game beyond the typical power forward role. However, when your main strengths are shut down this decisively, it raises legitimate concerns about your overall effectiveness at the pro level.
And look, Angel had a real nice assist last night.
For efficiency.
I'm not going to lie.
Off
Here
the
we
miss.
go right here down the court.
Tia Nurse
Looks like maybe
pushes
Nurse
the pace
with
up
the ball
for Chicago.
down to Reese.
Top of the
Look
key,
at
it's
this
Reese. Fantastic.
right in there for a layup.
Rachel Banham with the cut off the nice pass from
Rachel
Reese.
that was nice. It was nice, no doubt.
This wasn't just a rough outing, it was a blueprint for stopping Angel Reese. Collier showed that smart positioning, high basketball IQ, and disciplined team defense are enough to erase Reese's physical edge. And now that her on-court dominance is being questioned, it's fair to take a closer look at some of her bold off-court claims as well. She says people watch women's basketball because of her. But if that's the case, where are the fans at her games?
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
That's what Angel Reese declared to reporters after being drafted by the Chicago Sky. Words that didn't just echo through the press room, but reverberated across the basketball world. Confident, unapologetic, bold. For a rookie, calling yourself the reason people tune in to watch women's basketball isn't just a statement, it's a challenge to the status quo. But here's the real question. Is it just talk, or is there truth behind the claim? Are fans really showing up because of Angel Reese? Do the viewership stats and social buzz prove she's not just a player, but a movement?
It's one. A lot more to come. Shout out our fans. Absolutely incredible. Thank you guys for showing up, showing love to all my teammates. We appreciate you. More to come.
The Chicago Sky just got a harsh reminder. Don't keep Caitlin Clark off the court for 7 months. After her longest stretch away from competitive basketball, Clark delivered a record-breaking triple-double never before seen in a WNBA season opener, powering the Fever to a dominant 35-point win.
They're going to make this rivalry come back, this manufactured rivalry, which, by the way, you guys, the Indiana Fever beat the Sky by nearly 40 points. They won 93-58.
The Sky's issue was clear. They had no response to Clark's brilliance, Boston's control in the paint, or the Fever's relentless defense that limited the Sky to a dreadful 29% shooting. Angel Reese may have pulled down 17 rebounds, but both she and her squad delivered a complete flop from beginning to end. The Fever didn't just win, they made a statement as rising contenders. We'll break down how Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever humbled Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky on opening night.
The regular season is here, and we have no more time for flirting, folks. We have no more time. It's time to get serious about our business. And Caitlin Clark handled her business game 1. 20, 10, and 10. 20, 10, and 10. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, what do the kids say? Belt to ass. Oh yeah. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Indiana Fever destroy, obliterate, run out of the gym the Chicago Sky. 93-58.
7 months? That's how long Caitlin Clark had to wait. 7 months since she last played a professional basketball game. 7 months of listening to doubters wonder if she could level up after a stellar rookie campaign. 7 months of Angel Reese talking nonstop to anyone willing to hear her.
It feels like it's gone by fast, yeah. Which I didn't know going into the offseason of how exactly it would feel. I feel like just yesterday it was January and I was itching for like this first game. I was like thinking about this moment, and I mean, you think it will take a long time to get there, but it doesn't. If you just, stay consistent in what you do and follow your routines and, you stay busy, it comes pretty fast. But yeah, it didn't feel slow. I feel like this moment has raced up on us.
Imagine the pressure on someone who's played basketball their whole life. The offseason stretched endlessly as doubts piled up around Clark's game. Could she handle the physical play? Would she reduce her turnovers? And above all, could she turn the Fever into real contenders?
I'm excited to play, excited to get out there and play. I think it's different when it's the first one of the season. Like, you just are really amped up to get out there. A little anxiousness, but nothing I haven't experienced before. I think more than anything, just excited. I think once you eventually get in the building and you get here and you get in your routine of preparing for the game, you're pretty locked in. And honestly, I'm ready to go play right now. Forget warm-ups.
The preseason only made the pressure worse. Clark gave glimpses of her talent, but also faced leg problems that kept her out at times. Critics were watching closely, ready to attack if she stumbled in her season opener. And who was lined up for that first game? Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. But let's be honest, only Reese and the media act like this is a rivalry. Clark has no rival.
Rivalry is great for sport. Like, I understand that. I grew up loving rivalries. Like, I grew up in Iowa State. That's like a pro matchup in the state of Iowa. Like, I understand that. Or whether it was my high school team, like, I still hate our rival high school, Valley High School. Sorry, I'm sure there's a lot of people from Valley High School that love me and support me now. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys, but I wasn't your biggest fan. I didn't like the Tigers growing up. So my parents, my grandfather was the football coach growing up, and Valley was our biggest rival. It was the biggest class in Iowa. And I was taught to, growing up, if we were driving by the high school, to hold my breath because I couldn't breathe that air.
From the first minutes, it was clear something had changed in Clark. The hesitation from her rookie year was gone. No more second-guessing or overanalyzing. She played with a freedom that echoed her Iowa days, like she was back in college, running the show. Her first three-pointer dropped smooth through the net, sharp, confident, effortless. Then came the no-look passes that stunned defenders. The rebounds ripped from taller opponents. The defensive plays no one thought she'd make. This wasn't just Caitlin Clark performing. This was Caitlin Clark making a statement. By halftime, the Fever were up by 19 points. Clark was already on the verge of making history. 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists in just one half. What began as a hyped-up showdown had become a performance that silenced every doubt about Clark's impact at the pro level. The second half wasn't about the outcome. The Fever had that locked. It became about the record books. Could Clark keep up her all-around brilliance? The answer came in the fourth, when she grabbed her 10th rebound, sealing a triple-double with 20 points and 10 assists already secured. No one in WNBA history had ever logged a triple-double in a season opener. Not Diana Taurasi, not Candace Parker, not Sue Bird. Caitlin Clark pulled off what none of them had, and she did it in the very first game of her second year. As Clark ran the offense with sharp passes and clutch buckets, the message couldn't be clearer. The 7-month layoff didn't slow her down. It fueled her fire. She wasn't just back, she was better. And for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, that meant total collapse.
More than anything, like as a player, you approach the game the same every single time, or you should. That's how you should approach every single game. You prepare the same way, you come ready to play, whether it's the team that's last in the league or the team that's first in the league, it doesn't matter. I think for the fans, it's great, they love it, and I mean, Chicago is the closest team to us. You know, we bus there usually, so I get it geographically. But I think for our team and our group, it's, you know, we prepare the same way every single game. But I expect today to be an awesome game.
Here's where everyone missed the mark. While most expected Caitlin Clark to rack up points, no one predicted the Fever would become a defensive force overnight. Chicago's players came in thinking they were geared up for a shootout. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a nightmare.
All right, y'all. Hey, good stuff. Okay, we did a lot of really good things. I thought our defense was really good, and when we had lapses, we played through possessions. All right, so we made things happen. Y'all, overall, just hell of an effort.
From the very first possession, the Fever unleashed a defensive onslaught that felt like they had 6 players on the floor. They smothered every shot, suffocated passing lanes, and collapsed on every drive with ruthless efficiency. It wasn't just defense, it was chaos, precision, and intensity rolled into one relentless force. The Sky were left gasping. Every move they made met with hands in their faces and bodies blocking their path. Chicago's offense didn't just stall, it imploded. With no room to breathe, their rhythm disappeared and their game plan unraveled. They looked disoriented, hesitant, and outmatched, as if they'd stumbled into a storm they never saw coming. The Fever didn't just play defense, they made a statement, and the Sky had no answer.
Angel Reese, going home to her alma mater, LSU, plays against the Brazilian national team in front of 6,373 people. 6,373 people. This is an arena that holds 13,000 people.
What happens when a self-proclaimed draw in women's basketball returns to her championship alma mater? You'd expect packed stands, thunderous applause, and tickets impossible to find, right? Angel Reese's LSU homecoming delivered something entirely unexpected.
Angel Reese fans, LSU fans, all of you who tell us, oh my God, what a big superstar. Oh my God, transcendent. Oh my goodness, generational. Oh my goodness, so on and so forth. You guys do all the talking, all the yapping. Twitter fingers turn to can't even show up and buy ticket fingers.
Despite dirt cheap ticket prices and the nostalgic return of a national champion, the Pete Maravich Assembly Center sat half empty during the Chicago Sky preseason game against the Brazilian national team. The same building that roared for Reese during her college career suddenly went quiet when she returned as a pro. Was it all just smoke and mirrors? I thought people watched for her too. And what did Angel Reese's mom and her new coach, Tyler Marsh, have to say in all of this?
Yeah, we're gonna eat good this year. How about another McBrick? Bang! To your local McDonald's, you can order the Angel Reese special, you get the combo meal, you get the bang bang! Hey, get her a credit card, with the reward points, cause she loves to travel! Bang!
What happens when a national champion returns home? For most stars, it's a celebration complete with fanfare, packed stands, and enough energy to power a small city. For Angel Reese, it was something else entirely. Remember when Angel Reese boldly claimed she was the reason people watch women's basketball alongside Caitlin Clark? Those words echoed through sports media for weeks. Reese positioned herself as an equal draw, suggesting fans tune in just as much for her as they do for Clark. It was a big claim that set expectations high for her return to LSU.
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. "It's because of me too, and I want you to realize that."
The Chicago Sky scheduled a preseason matchup against the Brazilian national team at Reese's alma mater. The perfect homecoming story. This should have been a slam dunk for attendance. A national champion returning to the place where she made history. Yet the actual turnout told a different story.
A lot of Angel Reese fans are not basketball fans, and they are proving it. They proved it last night without a shadow of a doubt. That was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen.
The Pete Maravich Assembly Center holds over 13,000 fans when filled to capacity. During Reese's college days, those seats were regularly packed with purple and gold. But for her professional return, merely 6,000 people showed up. That's less than half the arena's capacity, leaving entire sections visibly empty.
They did not even halfway fill that place up last night. So the narrative about people are watching for Me Too, people are showing up for Me Too, that narrative is, don't let anybody try to blow smoke up your...
What makes this even more surprising were the ticket prices. Fans could get in the door for as little as $11 on some resale sites. $11. That's cheaper than most movie tickets these days. Even with such accessible pricing, thousands of seats remained unfilled.
There was over 6,800 seats still available, and some people were saying, by the way, that literally there were some $15 tickets out there.
Social media quickly noticed the attendance issue. "Yo, it's empty in there," one user posted. Another pointed out, Angel Reese fans couldn't even sell out LSU's arena for her return, and tickets were dirt cheap. The cameras couldn't hide the truth as they panned across sections of vacant seats during the broadcast. This attendance failure raises serious questions about Reese's marketability. She's secured major endorsement deals and positioned herself as a basketball icon, yet couldn't fill her home arena at bargain prices. The gap between her perceived draw and the actual numbers is impossible to ignore. The empty seats directly contradict Reese's claim about being a major reason fans watch women's basketball. If that were true, wouldn't her homecoming be the hottest ticket in Baton Rouge? The numbers speak for themselves.
We're going to point this out because Angel decided to come out and she said, I'm going to play the victim. Or, well, the victim, yeah, and the villain. People are watching for Me Too. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Of course, criticism about the half-empty arena quickly made its way across social media platforms. And when fans started pointing out the obvious attendance issue, they received an unexpected response. Not from Angel herself, but from her mother, who jumped to her daughter's defense with a tweet that only added fuel to the fire. When the photos of empty seats hit social media, Angel Reese's mom didn't stay silent. Her response, it only made things worse. As fans pointed out those vacant sections at LSU, Angel's mother jumped into the Twitter fray with a defensive comeback that missed the mark completely. Rather than addressing the disappointing turnout, she chose to shift the focus elsewhere.
Angel Reese's mother has gone on the offensive and called out Caitlin Clark fans for pointing out attendance. And I just don't see the point in this. I don't see the point in this.
Her exact tweet read, "That certain fan base looking in the stands celebrating attendance while others are looking up in the rafters celebrating championship banners. We ain't the same. Different year, same haters. Have a great day." This wasn't subtle. Everyone knew exactly which certain fan base she was talking about. The pointed reference to Caitlin Clark's supporters came across as both defensive and dismissive. Instead of acknowledging the legitimate surprise that a hometown hero couldn't fill half an arena, she tried creating a false equivalence between attendance numbers and championship banners.
There is no argument to be made. We heard it from Chinea Wumake as well. We've heard it from a lot of people. Like, there's no argument to be made that there is a needle. There is a needle.
The problem, the tweet actually attracted more attention to the exact issue she wanted to deflect from. Social media users quickly pointed out the glaring contradictions. One fan fired back. Her daughter playing in that empty arena got her so tight she had to take a swing at us. I'm in tears.
You have literally got a parent of a player in the WNBA flexing winning a college ring, while because people are calling out attendance. These people are calling out attendance, and the only reason people are calling out attendance is because Angel said the whole "people watching for me too."
Others noted the most uncomfortable truth. Wouldn't it be more helpful if you directed your hate at how LSU games were packed this year, but this game was not? This perfectly captured the central issue. During Reese's college days, LSU consistently packed the house. So, why couldn't her WNBA return generate the same enthusiasm?
But people have not shown up to watch her play basketball, and that is a fact. Like, people do not really show up to watch Angel Reese play basketball. And I do think that there's not that there's a reason for it, but I do think that can be that's something that you can mention when the "people are watching for me too" statement has come out of her mouth.
The mother-daughter defensive stance backfired spectacularly. Instead of quieting critics, it amplified the conversation about Reese's actual drawing power. The championship banner argument held little water in the professional context. College achievements don't automatically translate to WNBA star power. What's more, the attempt to change the subject only highlighted the gap between perception and reality. If you need to remind people of past glory when current attendance is disappointing, you've already lost the argument.
Brianna Turner has signed with the Indiana Fever per the WNBA transition page. Some depth for the Fever front court. She played for again. I believe she played for Chicago.
Angel Reese is not handling this well. The moment Brianna Turner turned down the Chicago sky and linked up with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever instead, Reese was already in her feelings. And, of course, she made sure everyone knew it. "Oh, so this is what we're doing now?" she said, trying to sound playful, but that side-eye and that fake little laugh told the real story. You could practically hear the salt in her voice. Guess loyalty's got an expiration date like some old milk. Classic Angel, always turning everything into a moment. But behind the jokes, you know it stung. And WNBA Twitter, they gobbled it up like free popcorn at a game.
You don't get told no. Like, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to get more yeses than nos, and just being able to know that. So I'm excited for that. I know that's going to come soon.
This wasn't just another free agent making a choice. This was Brianna Turner, all WNBA defensive first team, a proven veteran Someone who could have been the stabilizing force the shaky sky desperately needed, choosing to straight up ditch Chicago and put Angel Reese in her place by heading to Indiana. Turner literally took a pay cut to sign with the Fever, passing up a bigger deal with Chicago, who had the cap space to offer more. And when you're Angel Reese, still out here trying to convince everyone you're the face of the league, but watching players you need to stay with you go play for your so-called rival? Yeah, that hits different. And let's be real, there is no rivalry except in Reese's head.
WNBA free agency is officially underway, Annie. So when you see these names and the options that the Sky have, what do you think that they're cooking up?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because Angel and Camilla are very interesting pieces. And when you're talking about, getting the right players in here, there is intrigue when you have young core pieces like that, because you could be part of developing them and developing towards a title contending season. But the reality is the Sky are still very far from that. And so this year, the focus really has to be on getting players in who are going to bridge that gap between this season and next.
Reese tried to play it cool with the usual social media act, but you could see the cracks starting to show. Wow, just wow, she tweeted. Short, simple, but we all knew what it really meant. Translation, she was heated. And honestly, who could blame her? First, Aja Wilson had to watch the Fever assemble what looked like an Avengers-level squad. And now, Angel Reese was getting hit with the same reality. It was like every top-tier free agent looked at Chicago, then at Indiana, and thought, yeah, I'm good. I'll go hoop with Caitlin.
So, in a kind of a surprising turn of events, the Indiana Fever have made yet another move this offseason, and they have signed Bree Turner to the roster.
Meanwhile, over in Indiana, it was all about celebration. Brianna Turner was welcomed with open arms. Aaliyah Boston, as cool as ever, dropped a tweet. Let's hoop. Short and sweet, but oozing the kind of confidence that screams, we know exactly what we're building here. And Sophie Cunningham? You know she was somewhere grinning from ear to ear, probably already imagining the moment she gets to clap back at Angel Reese on the court after a hard foul. This Fever team isn't just stacking talent. They're building chemistry before they've even set foot in the gym.
These are the pieces that Stephanie White and Amber Cox is going after. They're going after ready elite talent, kind of, they know their responsibility. They know what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? They don't really have to do a whole lot of coaching like that, teaching plug-and-play pieces, and women that are going to come in and make immediate impact. That's what you want to see from this basketball team. That's what you see from elite teams across the league.
But here's the thing. This goes beyond just a player choosing a team. This is a shift. The WNBA isn't just growing, it's evolving into a spectacle. Players are waking up to the fact that Indiana is the new place to be. And for Angel Reese, it's starting to look like a nightmare. While she's out here trying to sell us on the idea that Chicago's got next, her teammates, and potential teammates, are quietly saying, nah, we're good.
So, lads, this is not great news, for the Chicago Sky, who are a team that obviously, they're rebuilding. This is a team that is 100% rebuilding. The problem is they don't own their pick. So if the Chicago Sky run it back, they're probably not making the playoffs next year. Look, I think there's going to be an improvement from Angel Reese. I think it's going to be an improvement from Cardoso. But that team with no Kennedy Carter, it's going to be real tough to get any offensive power.
The offseason's barely started, and it already feels like the Fever won free agency. Angel Reese might need to start recruiting soon. But there's one problem. All the stars are taken. Social media was buzzing with bold takes. Y'all can keep Angel Reese and her missed layups. We've got Caitlin Clark. The disrespect, loud, ruthless, and honestly, kind of earned. What was Chicago's comeback supposed to be? The Sky's free agency tracker looked more like a missing persons report. Marina Mabrey left mid-season, Kennedy Carter wasn't re-signed, and Diamond DeShields chose Connecticut over Chicago. Now it's just Reese and Camila Cardoso left from their starting lineup. Sky fans were scrolling, wondering, wait, who did we even get? While teams like New York flexed their super team status and the Aces kept their dynasty core, Chicago looked like they were assembling a junior varsity squad.
Fever, it is funny that all these people who hated the Indiana Fever last year is finally coming around to sign with the team. Go figure. Now, I don't know the whole initial thing about this signing, maybe for depth, defensive purposes, but it is funny to see how what a year make when the Indiana Fever is one of the, not one, but is the top team.
The pain was real. Every time Fever fans posted a lineup graphic, Sky fans had to close the app just to save their sanity. Because what could they even say? Trust the process? That's fine for NBA Twitter, but this is the WNBA. You either build the right way or get left behind. And right now, Chicago looked like they were about to get lapped.
Indiana Fever are officially title contenders. Every day they have something new for us in free agency. And today it's Miss DeWanna Bonner. 6-time WNBA All-Star and WNBA champ, a veteran in this game, can pretty much do it all. Also an enforcer, nasty defense. Should I continue? We have a new starting five. Caitlin at the 1, Kelsey at the 2, DeWanna at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5.
Of course, Angel Reese wasn't about to let her pride take that hit without a fight. She went straight into the underdog speech, the one we've all heard. I thrive when people doubt me, she said. And sure, maybe she does. Maybe she'll come out next season ready to bulldoze every defender in her way. But let's be real. Thriving off doubt is great for an individual, but basketball is a team sport. And right now, her team looks like they're one rolled ankle away from disaster.
Is Angel Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
While Reese is busy talking about proving people wrong, Indiana's out here making moves like they've got a personal vendetta against the whole league. Fever GM Amber Cox and head coach Stephanie White didn't just see potential in Caitlin Clark. They saw a championship window wide open, and they're diving through it head first. No more, we're rebuilding. No more, give it time. This team is built to win now, and every move they've made this offseason proves it.
What Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal, in my opinion. They are taking this young, talented core that they have, you know, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked with. Let's talk about that too, and has chemistry with and knows the work ethic of. And they are building this super team, make no mistake about it, that is going to give you instant results.
Natasha Howard isn't just a veteran. She's a champion, a defensive powerhouse who can still drop 20 any night. DeWanna Bonner is a walking bucket and a proven leader who thrives when the pressure's on. Brianna Turner? She's an elite defender, locking down the paint and making sure no one gets easy points. Sophie Cunningham brings the edge, the shooting, and the attitude, exactly what you need when the playoffs get gritty. And Sydney Colson? She's more than just good vibes. She's a seasoned guard who knows how to run an offense and steady the ship when things get chaotic. And here's the kicker. They did all of this without touching their Fab Four of Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull. Together, this isn't just a team, it's an army. Every role is covered: leadership, defense, scoring, depth, and most importantly, chemistry. Caitlin Clark doesn't have to do it all on her own. she's got a squad that's ready to handle business.
Breaking news came down, so we have to discuss it. This is what we do here. We're talking about the Indiana Fever making yet another move, Alicia, because they're Thanos right now and they're collecting all the Infinity Stones.
Don't forget, Aaliyah Boston is still here. While everyone's focused on Caitlin Clark, Boston's already an all-star and one of the most dominant young bigs in the league. Pair her with Brianna Turner and Natasha Howard, and you've got a defensive wall. Good luck driving into that paint. With DeWanna Bonner and Sophie Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull get cleaner looks on offense. Stephanie White isn't just collecting talent, she's building a team that fits. Everyone on this roster complements Caitlin Clark, stretching the floor, defending, moving without the ball, everything she needs to thrive. If teams thought trapping Clark at the logo was tough last season, wait until she's got Mitchell or Bonner cutting, Hull or Cunningham spacing, and Boston, Turner, or Howard punishing inside.
Sydney Colson is a two-time WNBA champion, a true vet, an amazing backup point guard. And anytime that CC or any of the guards need to go to the bench, I mean, Sydney Colson always makes the right call, always makes the right decision. So to pick up a vet, a professional like Sydney Colson, and then you also have a vet like DeWanna Bonner, and you also have a vet like Kelsey Mitchell, and then you have CC and Aaliyah Boston and Lexi.
The rest of the WNBA thought they had time, thought Indiana needed a season or two to figure it out. Wrong. The Fever just hit fast forward on their rebuild. They're not waiting. They're coming now. And for teams like Chicago, that's terrifying. If this team clicks the way it looks on paper, they're not just making the playoffs. They're making a run.
Just trying to give myself some grace because I know I'm not the player that I want to be just yet, but also kind of patting myself on the back, telling myself that I'm still doing great.
Angel Reese can preach underdog mentality all she wants, but that won't win games when Caitlin Clark's draining threes from the logo and Aaliyah Boston's sending shots into the third row. Chicago might think they can figure it out as they go, but the Fever aren't leaving anything to chance. They've built a team that's ready to win from day one, and that's what's really driving Angel Reese crazy. It's not just Brianna Turner leaving, it's the realization that Indiana is everything Chicago wanted to be. A young core, respected vets, and a front office making smart moves. The Fever are setting the standard, while the Sky? They're just hoping Angel Reese can talk them into relevance.
Also, Complex has put out their 10 most influential women in sports. And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number one.
Caitlin Clark did it again. As if shattering records on the court wasn't enough, she just scored another huge victory without even having to tie up her sneakers. Complex just crowned her the most influential female athlete, solidifying her place as the biggest name in sports at the moment. And the best part? She edged out Angel Reese, who, predictably, isn't taking it too well.
So, it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of, just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit of grace.
That's right. While Clark is out here racking up awards, growing the game, and making history, Reese is busy scrambling for excuses, pretending like this honor doesn't matter. But let's be honest, if Reese had won, we'd never hear the end of it. Instead of celebrating someone else's success, she's doing what she does best, downplaying Clark's accomplishments while spending more time on TikTok than in the gym.
Announcing the top 10 most influential athletes right now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark, check. Breaking records, Caitlin Clark, check. Proving their impact goes far beyond the game, from sold-out arenas to game-changing moves in business and fashion. These women are leading the way. If this is a top 10 list, then sitting on the top of that list, there's only one right answer. There's only one correct choice.
Let's set the record straight. This isn't just about an award. It's about who the fans are really backing. One player has everyone tuning in for her mind-blowing talent, and the other, well, She's famous for making headlines for everything but basketball. Some see this as a rivalry, but let's be real. It's not much of a competition when one player is actually winning.
What is your stance on that? So my whole thing was like, when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm like, cool. Like, the pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm like, all right, cool. I can just hoop. So I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're like, oh,
I'm still a rookie. I'm still figuring it out. Trying to figure things out.
All right, let's break it all down. Why did Clark take home this award? What makes her influence so undeniable? And most importantly, why is Angel Reese acting like she got robbed? We're about to dive into the numbers, the impact, and the hilarious aftermath.
And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at that. I think it's hilarious. I will tell you right off the bat, I don't believe there's a singular world, where Angel Reese should be ahead of Simone Biles either. There, I put that out loud.
Caitlin Clark didn't just break records, she obliterated them. 62 records shattered in a single season. Let that sink in. This isn't just about making history, it's about rewriting the entire record book. No player in WNBA history has ever dominated like this, and we're only in year 1.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the Fever rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Clark didn't just put up insane numbers, she actually changed the trajectory of an entire franchise. Before she showed up, the Indiana Fever were stuck at the bottom of the league, barely staying relevant. Then Caitlin Clark walked in, and boom, they made the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. That's not just individual greatness, that's team-changing dominance.
The woman who's been putting women's basketball on her back for the better part of 3 years now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark has men watching women's basketball.
Let's talk off-court impact, because this is where Clark leaves the so-called rivals in the dust. WNBA merch sales shot up 500% in her rookie season. Yes, 500%. Jerseys, t-shirts, memorabilia, everything was flying off the shelves. Meanwhile, Reese's jerseys, just sitting there collecting dust, while Clark's sold out in minutes.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon.
This isn't just about jersey sales. Clark's influence is shaking up the whole league's economy. Viewership is through the roof. Arenas that once struggled to fill seats are now packed, but only when Clark's in town. Teams that used to beg for fans are now scrambling to expand seating to keep up with the demand.
So that's what they got on her. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number 1. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number 1. Caitlin Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. That's right. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlin Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Clark's impact is undeniable. Her presence alone boosts the WNBA attendance by 105%.
Even sports economists are stunned by Clark's impact. Thayer Lavielle, a top name in sports business, called her a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her to Michael Jordan for how she's boosting the game's visibility and value. And honestly, she's spot on.
Because when we went to the WNBA games and we went to go watch Caitlin Clark when they came to play the Washington Mystics in DC, and they shut that they had to move the game from the Washington Mystics WNBA arena to the actual Washington arena where the Wizards played, and it was packed. It was sold out for people to see Caitlin Clark. That did not happen the day before that when they went to Chicago to play Angel Reese.
Let's talk real numbers. Clark's rookie season alone raked in a jaw-dropping $36 million for Indianapolis. Just one player did that, and it's only the start. Experts predict her rise will boost women's basketball's value by $1.6 billion over the next 3 years. Yes, billion with a B.
I'm going to look at this the way I did with Michael Jordan. Now, she's not the Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But A'ja Wilson is the best player in the game. Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league, getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number one pick. They were the worst team last year. And there is value that I can attach to that.
So what does all this mean? Caitlin Clark isn't just a superstar, she's a movement. She's doing more than dominating on the court. She's reshaping the entire league's future, bringing in new fans, generating massive revenue, and making women's basketball must-watch TV.
I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player every single year because of what he meant to his team and what he meant to the league. And, oh, by the way, winning 6 titles. Can't argue with that. Caitlin Clark may not win titles. Las Vegas is still a great team. But the fact that she is doing what she's doing and at a very high level, you know, it's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still sitting there trying to figure out why she wasn't named most influential. Maybe if she spent more time working on her game and less time complaining on social media, she'd get that this is about sports.
This is about sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese, stop it. Stop it. There's a dude on the internet who cracks me up. On TikTok, he's put together a shitload of Angel Reese clips, and it'll say Angel Reese part 36. And it goes, Angel Reese going up for another layup. She misses, bang! And I mean, dude, it's the funniest shit. And my whole thing is this, dude. She just seems as uncoordinated as a baby giraffe.
Caitlin Clark's journey to these awards might seem like a done deal, but the real story is way bigger. Remember Angel Reese? She was hyped as Clark's biggest competition, with the media pushing this so-called rivalry. It was framed as the ultimate showdown, a season-long battle that had fans hooked. But let's be real, was it ever really close?
Saying Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark is saying Rodman was better than Michael Jordan, or Ben Wallace was better than Kobe, or even Andre Drummond was better than LeBron. And I shouldn't have to point out that Angel Reese is actually a poor defender.
From the jump, the media pushed the narrative of 2 rookies battling for WNBA supremacy. But as the season went on, the gap became painfully clear. This wasn't a duel of equals. It was one player dominating the league, while the other spent more time in the headlines than in the box scores.
Oh, Reese! 3-on-3, part 13, let's get it!
Classic long 2.
Bang!
PSA, no rims or backboards were harmed during the filming of this video. But viewers are encouraged to look away.
Bang!
What?
Bang!
I heard her say that she might sit out if the WNBA doesn't pay her what she deserves. I say $1 million for every missed layup is fair.
Bang!
They are stat petting queen properly. Fair wages for all. I repeat, fair wages. Remember, they're coming to see her.
Long 2, butter pecan, bang!
Then came Rookie of the Year and First Team All-WNBA, and that's when it all came to light. Clark didn't just win, she ran away with it. The so-called competition wasn't even close. As for Reese, she wasn't exactly graceful in defeat. Instead of congratulating Clark, she hit social media to claim Clark didn't deserve the honor. Imagine losing a race by a mile and then demanding a recount.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off of that.
But here's the real kicker. Clark's success isn't about trophies or petty rivalries. She's not out here chasing awards. She's revolutionizing the WNBA. Her impact goes far beyond basketball. She's expanding the game, shattering attendance records, and bringing in millions of new fans. Meanwhile, Reese is stuck trying to convince everyone she belongs in the same conversation as Clark. The difference? Clark is changing the game. Reese is just trying to catch up.
Caitlin Clark is going to spend all of next season playing in NBA arenas. We've got rival fans being furious that, you know, Caitlin Clark is that she's getting new arenas, getting moved to new arenas. You've got people saying that they're pushing the Fever. Why are they pushing the Fever?
Caitlin Clark isn't just making waves, she's flooding the league. WNBA franchises are practically abandoning their home courts like they've been hit with a fire alarm that says, Caitlin's coming. Teams like Atlanta, Chicago, Connecticut, Dallas, Las Vegas, and Washington, D.C. are all scrambling to larger venues just to handle the Clark impact. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is probably doom-scrolling, wondering why her name isn't splashed across those massive billboards.
One thing is very clear. The Indiana Fever is America's team. And boy, the haters, by the time this season is over, their heads are going to have exploded already. They're going to be so angry by the end of this WNBA season. I mean, it's going to be hilarious watching the daily meltdown.
Take a moment to absorb this. WNBA teams are willingly leaving behind their cherished home courts to make room for one rookie phenom. This isn't hype. This is history in the making. 6 different franchises are moving their games to NBA arenas, meaning every Indiana Fever road game is now played in a venue with at least 15,000 seats. This isn't about following a trend. It's because Caitlin Clark has the kind of draw that fills arenas like no one else in the league. While some teams are still playing in what feel like converted gymnasiums, Caitlin's impact demands NBA-level venues. That's the kind of territory reserved for superstars.
That there are 6 WNBA teams that have moved their games to NBA or NBA size arenas.
Let's not kid ourselves. These aren't just slightly larger gymnasiums. These are full-blown arena upgrades. The Atlanta Dream are stepping up to the State Farm Arena. The Chicago Sky, yes, the same team that once treated Angel Reese like the second coming of Michael Jordan, are now dialing it back with 2 games at the United Center. And it's not for Reese, it's for Clark. Because unless the Indiana Fever are in town, Reese might as well be playing at a local community center. Even the Aces, with their glitz and trophies, are booking the T-Mobile Arena just to prepare for the Fever Frenzy.
Caitlin Clark, the people's champion! Let's get it! That's a deep one. Bang! Just announced that Caitlin Clark and the Fever will be playing 41 of 44 games this year on national TV. Hey, come in and watch the other girl, right? Right? Bang! Teams are moving their games with the Fever to NBA arenas so they can sell more tickets. How about that? Bang! Angel Reese attempted a 3 this deep. I think she might dislocate her shoulder. Bang! You want some butter with that bread? Butter. Butter. Butter pecan! Bang!
It's honestly hilarious when you think about it. Just last season, these teams were all acting like Caitlin Clark was just another rookie. We don't need her, they boasted, chests puffed. The league is fine without her. And now, here we are. The same teams are practically begging for court space big enough to accommodate the Clark crowds. It's not just about rolling out the red carpet anymore. It's like tearing up the road and rebuilding it with gold bricks.
Atlanta Dream moved 1 game to the State Farm Arena. Chicago Sky moved 2 games to the United Center. Home of the Bulls, home of the Blackhawks. In Atlanta, by the way, that's the home of the Hawks. Connecticut Sun moved 1 game to TD Garden. Home of the NBA Celtics. That's going to look really freaking cool on TV.
Special shout out to Connecticut. This franchise doesn't even have an NBA arena nearby. So what do? They pack up and move the whole operation to Boston. Yep, new state, new zip code, new everything, just to make room for Caitlin Clark. That's not just special treatment, that's royalty-level hospitality. Can you imagine if Angel Reese tried to pull the same stunt? They'd probably laugh her all the way to some suburban middle school gym.
We're now at the stage where Caitlin Clark is probably going to be responsible. I'm not joking when I say this. For like games where she plays in are probably going to be responsible for like 30% of the attendance in the WNBA.
And it doesn't stop there. The Dallas Wings and Washington Mystics are also moving their Clark matchups to larger venues, complete with extra seating, luxury suites, and, let's face it, bigger profit margins. This isn't a coincidence, it's strategic planning. When Caitlin Clark rolls into town, it's not just a game, it's an economic boom. One ESPN analyst even dubbed her the WNBA's walking GDP boost. He meant it as a joke, but honestly, the numbers speak for themselves.
There are teams that are going to average 3,000 fans at games, but have 17,000 fans when Caitlin Clark shows up to town with a fever.
Now, let's check in on the critics. The same ones who were screaming from the rooftops that Clark was overhyped have suddenly gone awfully quiet. Why? Because their arenas are packed, their jerseys are flying off the shelves, and their TV ratings are through the roof. All thanks to the player they once claimed didn't matter. And as for Angel Reese, she's still stewing over her not-so-unrivaled championship, watching Caitlin dominate the spotlight, the schedule, and the arenas.
The Phoenix Mercury play in the NBA arena. The Seattle Storm do. There are 13 WNBA teams, 7 already playing NBA arenas. The other 6 are moving their games to NBA arenas versus the Fever. You can't acknowledge that she is the needle mover. Yeah.
Before Caitlin Clark hit the WNBA, the average game barely drew 6,000 fans, about as many as you'd see at a high school pep rally. But Clark? She's effortlessly filling 20,000-seat arenas like it's no big deal. That's not just an increase, that's triple the usual turnout. These fans aren't there for the home team, they're showing up for her. WNBA execs are practically falling over themselves, openly admitting they'd give up home court advantage just to cash in on the Clark phenomenon. That's not hype. That's a walking ATM and sneakers.
I believe there was actually a debate on who was Rookie of the Year last year. Imagine being that delusional. Bang! People need to understand she saved this league. Powder, there's no TV deals, no ad sponsorships, heck, no shoe deals for you, Angel Reese, no McDonald's money. The league losing millions of dollars each year. She saved them from bankruptcy. Time to be grateful. Bang! 93% of her games on national TV. She's like that. Bang!
Let's talk numbers. WNBA attendance shot up by 48% last season, and unless your math is off, that increase has Caitlin Clark's name written all over it. Teams aren't just scheduling her games, they're building their entire season around her appearances. The Las Vegas Aces, the same team that snickers whenever Clark's name trends, have quietly moved multiple games to the T-Mobile Arena. Why? Because they know the Caitlin effect is the real MVP. All the eye rolls and cryptic tweets aside, even they can't deny she's the main attraction.
Now we've got some more information on the games and some perspective. Here we are. Indiana Fever put this out, man, just a few minutes ago. All eyes on us. 41 of our 44 games are on national television.
Now, here's where it gets wild. Caitlin Clark has secured 41 nationally televised games this season. That's not just more airtime than any other player. It's more than entire franchises have had in years. We're talking ESPN, ABC, CBS, NBA TV. Every network wants a piece of the Clark action. It's a broadcast feeding frenzy, and trust me, no one's settling for leftovers.
The most television games in franchise history, the most national television games in for a single team in WNBA history. How about that?
Last season, the Indiana Fever were basically an afterthought. They were the dusty book collecting cobwebs on the bottom shelf, overlooked and forgotten. But with Caitlin Clark in the mix, they've transformed into the league's golden child, now the star attraction in every primetime slot. The same team that struggled at the bottom of the standings is now the crown jewel of WNBA coverage. And you know that's stinging players like Angel Reese. For years, they assumed the throne was just waiting for them. But then Caitlin Clark shows up, shattering records, drawing massive ratings, and showing off a range that leaves everyone in the dust. Suddenly, it's her show, and the spotlight's all hers.